Hello, welcome to Other Perspectives. I'm Nancy Kaplan. Joining me tonight is Mary Schlitt, Director of Development for Food Gatherers, one of the most important nonprofit organizations in Washtenaw County. Welcome. I'm so glad you could be here. I think coming up right now is the picture of the Food Gatherers Warehouse, that famous entrance with all the carrots. But that takes us to now. I'd like you to tell us what it was like when the organization first began. Is that 23 years ago in 1988? It wasn't this big, wonderful thing that it is now.
Yeah,
tell us
no,
about it,
it
Mary.
was small. It was started in Zingerman's Deli in 1988 by R.E. Weinswig and Paul Saginaw, who are the founders of Zingerman's. And it was basically upstairs in the deli. Oh. They had a truck one Thanksgiving in 1988. They took a truck and they collected about 50 pounds of food, and they distributed it to hot meal programs in Washtenaw County. And so it started there, just doing food rescue.
Isn't that wonderful? So tell us what it means when you say food rescue.
Well, food rescue is basically, we have trucks that go out and we go to about 300 different food sources in Washtenaw County, and we pick up food that's really, really good food, and maybe close to its expiration date, or maybe they have an overage of food. Say, for example, the Olive Garden makes a bow tie pasta special some weekend, and then they have a ton of pasta left over that they don't need anymore because they're not doing the special, and we will go and pick that up and distribute it to nonprofit programs that feed people.
That's interesting in terms of the food rescue. So how has the mission really grown and developed? I mean, now you have your own place and you became a nonprofit, or a not-for-profit. We weren't in the beginning, though.
No, we were just we were a small agency. We were part of Zingerman's, and then we established ourselves as a nonprofit. We primarily did food rescue, and then about 10 years after our founding, we became a food bank. We overtook the food bank and did food rescue and food banking. About 70% of what we do is food rescue food, and the rest is food banking.
So let's look at some of your big responsibilities that you have now, all right? You mean the food gatherers.
Right.
You are, as you say, in charge. You run the county food bank?
Yeah. So we are, we reduce food waste through our rescue program, and then we coordinate with hunger relief partners. So we purchase food on a grand scale. We buy tons and tons of food. Our warehouse is huge. And we discount that and subsidize those food items with grants and fundraising efforts, and then we distribute that to our nonprofit partners.
And where is the food bank at? Where is the food bank?
The food bank is now on Duvarin Road.
Oh.
We have a wonderful warehouse that has giant carrots in front of it.
Yes, what we saw, yes.
And that's where we operate out of. That's where our warehouse facility is. Our trucks deliver food there. We weigh everything in that comes in, and we quickly collate it, do inventory on some of our food bank items, and then get it right back out to our nonprofit partners. So
tell us about some of the others. You also do a community kitchen as another one of food gatherers' responsibilities. Tell us about this community kitchen.
Yeah, so Food Gatherers, it doesn't really serve clients through our food rescue and food bank program. We serve nonprofit programs. We provide them with food so they can spend their money and energies on important things like housing people, helping the homeless, helping teens, homeless teens.
Where is this the community kitchen? Is it the Delonis?
Yes, it's at the Delonis Center downtown, and we serve hot meals through there. So the food rescue part, we work with partners, and that's the only place where we serve hot meals is through the community kitchen.
I think we have a visual of that, of someone serving a hot meal, some hot dogs. That should be up on the screen. And that is really more than just serving hot meals, because you also have a job training with that. Tell us about that, how it works together.
The community kitchen is basically operated by volunteers. There's about 1,500 volunteers at the community kitchen serving meals every day of the week. And we also operate the community kitchen job training program through there. And that's for young adults who are at risk for homelessness, or they're graduating out of the foster care system, and we provide them with the culinary arts training, food safety skills, and then also life skills.
Yes, we should have a visual up for that. They look like a happy group. How long are they in the program when they're in the training program?
It's about 6 weeks.
Oh.
And that's last year's graduating class. They were, on their graduating day, they get a white chef's jacket, which they love and put on immediately, and a golden spoon.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. And in the summer, I understand that Food Gatherers is in charge of the school food programs. Is that correct? Do you do it?
We do a summer food program. We coordinate with other hunger relief providers. During the summer months when children are out of school, low-income children don't have access to reduced breakfast and lunch programs. And so we work with our partners to provide healthy snacks and healthy meals to low-income families.
Okay. And you started to say, I think, 164 community agencies?
Yeah.
Can you name just a few that we, like Ozone House and
Dawn Farms, Catholic Social Services is a huge one. We work with Meals on Wheels, Ozone House, the Backdoor Food Pantry, Perry Nursery School, which is a fun one, Avalon Housing. Basically, if they're offering low-income services to low-income people, we're probably working with them to do some part of their food program.
Wonderful. And what about the food sources? Because you get food retail, wholesale, from restaurants, state, federal agencies, and some you pay for and some you don't. Can you tell us how that kind of works? I mean, what is it that you have to pay for?
Well, rescue food is kind of dicey sometimes. So you could get a lot of pastries and a lot of bread, but that isn't a complete meal for an individual.
Right.
So that's where we really come in and do the food banking portion, where we're purchasing protein items like tuna fish and peanut butter. We buy formula. We have a growing senior population that's in need, so we're buying nutritional supplement drinks like Ensure.
Wonderful. And so do you pay cost? Do you get, I mean, how does it?
Well, because we're buying in such large quantities, we are getting quite a discount there. Through federal programs, we get discounted pricing. We're one of Feeding America is our national food bank system, so we get a lot of choice products through national affiliations that they have with large food distributors.
Yes, and tell us about the food businesses can give you food, like you were saying, the Olive Garden, did you say yes? And what is this Good Samaritan Food Donation Act?
That's such a great law. It really allowed a lot more food businesses to participate in hunger relief. It basically said if they donated food in good faith, that they would not be held liable for any kind of damages or lawsuits about the food being tainted or not safe. But we have very high food safety standards at Food Gatherers. We're constantly monitored and also implement really rigorous standards about food safety.
It's a very nice, the Good Samaritan Food Donation Act. Yeah, yeah. You also have gardens.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us about the Gathering Farm and where it is and what you grow?
So the Gathering Farm is on a half acre of Food Gatherers property. It's right in front of our warehouse. It was covered with snow until a couple of days ago. And we grow anything from kale to tomatoes to broccoli and winter squash. And the last 2 years, I think we did about 20,000 pounds of fresh local produce a year. So it's a great source of produce for us.
We have a picture called Super Carrots of things that I believe you grow. Is that correct?
Yep, there's some items there. I think some cabbages and carrots.
Yes, that you grow. And then there's another, you have Faith and Food Gardens?
Yep, so the Faith and Food Initiative capitalizes on faith organizations' basic concentration on hunger relief. And they plant gardens on their church sites. And then they pledge to donate about 50% of the garden yield to Food Gatherers. It's a fantastic program. It's growing by leaps and bounds, and I think it's maybe in its second or third year now.
So you go and pick it up, is that?
They
Usually?
actually bring it to us.
Oh.
The picture that you showed is actually one of the gardeners from one of the congregations bringing us, I think, spinach in bags.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. Okay. I had a wonderful tour of your facility. So tell our viewers about the building, because I was just in awe of how you can accommodate so much food.
Well, that's a new facility. I mean, we call it new. It was built in 2003, and as soon as we built it, we were able to do an additional 1 million pounds of food out of that facility. Before, we were in an old abandoned slaughterhouse, which sounds terrible, but it was on that same site, and we demolished it and then built a new building.
Oh.
And the building allows us to accept semi-trucks full of food now. Our trucks can back up and easily load and unload food. We also have a thing called the Shopper's Pantry there. It almost looks like a small little supermarket where the programs come and shop on a daily basis. And they can pick up free food that we get through Food Rescue Program and also community food drives.
Oh, okay. And so volunteers. I read in your literature that you only have about 20 staff, but tell us how many volunteers you have and tell us about your volunteers.
Yeah, our volunteers are the lifeblood of our organization. They basically run the place. About 70% of our labor is done by volunteers, and there's just regular volunteers that have been working there for more than 15 years. There are about 5,000 volunteers.
Yes.
And they do everything from ride along on our trucks, so they'll go on food runs, they'll pick up food with one of our drivers, and they'll distribute it to the centers. And then people can also be working in the warehouse. They'll pack emergency food boxes or sort through canned good donations and check for expiration dates. And then they can also work at the community kitchen, dishing up hot meals for people in need.
When I was there, it seemed to be a group. I don't know if they were from a school, but they seem to. Do you have groups that come either from churches or from, as opposed to just individuals coming?
Yeah, absolutely. We have groups in there almost every day of the week. Because we have such a large facility, we can accommodate larger organizations that come in with about 20 or plus people.
Right.
And they'll go in for a day and do a volunteer activity together.
Right.
We have Girl Scout troops, we have Ford Motor Company. It really runs the gamut.
Right. So I hope that storage, the facility, the warehouse is up on the screen. That we're showing just a very small portion because you have a refrigeration area and you have a very large area with just racks and racks of stacked goods. So, and as a note, it says that you move 8 tons a day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
about 10,000 meals a day. That we do, and 5 of that 8 tons is rescued food. So really, it's all free food that we're keeping from our landfills and going to waste, and also community food drive food that's free food.
So Food Gatherers asks for donations of all kinds. Certainly, you need financial help, and the budget has grown by 200% in the last 4 years. What are your funds used for?
Our funds are basically used for our food rescue program. About 96% of our budget goes to our food rescue program, and that encapsulates the community kitchen and also our community kitchen job training program.
Because
so really,
you have trucks, though. You do have trucks, and you have to heat and cool your facility. And
yeah, we're very efficient. Only
yes.
about 4% is spent on administration and fundraising, and we can really do that because of our volunteer labor, the volunteers that come and help us at Food Gatherers.
Yeah, so I saw just what you're saying, that 96 cents of every dollar donated goes directly to the food program, and of course, and it's tax deductible.